Do you use ChatGPT or another AI tool to help with writing your manuscripts? And if you do, are you actually mentioning it in your manuscript? If not, you could be putting both your paper and your credibility at risk. So the ICMJE just updated their author guidelines on disclosing AI use in January 2026. And in this video, I'll break down exactly why you need to disclose your use of AI, what you need to disclose, and how to do it in your manuscript. And if we haven't met, hello, my name is Crystal Heron. I'm a trained biomedical scientist turned clinical researcher and now scientific and medical editor. And I help scientists, clinicians, and other professional writers write with clarity and confidence. Let's get to AI disclosure in your publications. So why do you need to disclose your use of AI? So AI and large language models, or LLMs, are great resources for writing, and their use is now ubiquitous across the sciences. Most people use these tools for some aspect of their work, whether they disclose it or not. But these tools can generate output that sounds confident and authoritative while also being incorrect, incomplete, or biased. So these tools come with real risks around validity, confidentiality, transparency, and accountability. And because of that, you need to disclose how you use AI tools in your publications. Now, when I've spoken to authors, some of them don't know that they need to disclose AI use in their manuscripts. And the guidelines around this have been evolving as AI tools and their use evolve. And the ICMJ guidelines recently updated their recommendations. And I'll walk you through how to disclose your use of AI based on those guidelines. And in case you're not familiar with the ICMJE, it stands for the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors. Now, I've also spoken to authors who are afraid to admit that they're using AI tools for writing. They worry that it means that they're less skilled or that editors or reviewers will judge them poorly. And that is not the case. These tools can be really helpful, especially if you're writing in a language that isn't your primary language. And in future videos, I'll share some ways that you might use these tools and what to watch out for. And when you use AI tools responsibly and disclose how you use them, it will not reflect poorly on you. However, if you don't disclose your use of AI, you could face corrective actions and even be investigated for misconduct, and that will reflect poorly on you. So it's essential to be transparent and disclose your use of AI. So how do you disclose your use of AI? You need to disclose at submission whether you used AI-assisted technologies in the production of submitted work, and this includes LLMs, chatbots, or image creators. And you need to describe what you used and how you used it in the cover letter with your submission and in the appropriate section of the manuscript. For example, if you use it to analyze data, disclose your use in the methods section like you would describe your use of statistical software to analyze data. Or if you use AI for writing assistance, disclose your use in the acknowledgement section. Now, I often get asked about what to do if you use AI tools just to spell check and correct some grammar. And this use is generally viewed as acceptable and doesn't require disclosure. But if you're concerned and not sure, just disclose it. And if the journal editor thinks it's unnecessary, you can always remove it before the article is published. Another important thing to note is that AI-assisted tools should not be listed as authors because they do not meet all 4 criteria for authorship. Mainly, they cannot be responsible for the accuracy, integrity, and originality of the work. And these responsibilities are required for authorship. If you're not sure what the 4 criteria for authorship are, I'll add a link to a video where I walk through them at the end of this video. Now, I want to reiterate that you, as the human, are responsible for the submitted work, and that includes being responsible for the AI-generated content. AI tools are known for producing outputs that are incorrect, incomplete, or biased. So if you're using AI-assisted tools, you must carefully review and edit the AI-generated content to ensure that it is correct, complete, and not biased. You also need to ensure that you are not plagiarizing anything in your paper, and this includes text and images produced by AI. And you need to be mindful that these tools could be violating copyrights as well, so you need to ensure that you get any necessary permissions. Also, you cannot reference AI-generated material as a primary source, so you need to verify and reference the primary source. And you must ensure that all quoted material is appropriately attributed and fully cited in the manuscript. Another question I am often asked is, how much should you disclose? Can you just say that you used a tool for writing assistance, or do you need to give a really detailed description? This depends on what you used it for. So if you used AI tools for the study itself, such as for data analysis, you need to describe your use in the methods section in detail. You need to give enough detail that someone else could reproduce it. Now, if you use AI tools for writing assistance at any stage of the writing process, outlining, writing, editing, reviewing, you need to disclose which tool was used and for what purpose. For example, you might disclose, we used AI tool company to develop an outline and assist with editing the text. And you can even add some extra assurance that your team did their due diligence by adding, we reviewed, revised, and verified all AI-generated suggestions, and we take full responsibility for the content. Now, if you want an extra layer of assurance, I recommend tracking your use of AI tools, whether you use them for writing or something else, so that you have an audit trail just in case. That means tracking tools, dates, prompts, inputs, and outputs so that you have an audit trail. And this can be as simple as saving annotated prompts and outputs in a folder, and it can be invaluable if questions come up. So these are the ICMJ guidelines for disclosing use of AI in publications. And these guidelines are widely accepted internationally, but some journals may have different guidelines. So be sure to read their author instructions carefully and follow them to a T. And if you want to stay up to date on the ICMJ guidelines, you can subscribe to updates on the ICMJ website, and I'll add a link to their website in the description box. Or you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter, and you'll get these updates as well as the best tips, tools, and resources on scientific and medical writing from me and around the web. I only send you the good stuff. I'll add a link to the description box in case you want to check it out. And if you want a refresher on the ICMJ criteria for authorship, I'll add a link to a video in which I talk about them and some of the common unethical authorship practices that I've seen at the end of this video. And if there's something in particular that you'd like to learn more about, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next video.